Welcome, welcome everyone to the late edition of the 83rd episode of the Home Theater Hub. As Mr. Chuck said, maybe we should call it 9:30-ish in the comments. Sorry, guys. We got a lot of people that we got set up today to join us, so it was just a little bit of technical issues going on. But Mr. Paul, long time no see, sir.
Yeah, I've been basically off this month. So I've been doing a lot of vacationing and just got back from Colorado and went to 19 different breweries and a couple extra restaurants. So got a lot of video content I'm going to have to edit for the Brews and Views.
Nice.
Went to Red Rocks concert, went to Coors Field, and the whole weekend, me and my buddy, we rode the Lime scooters the whole.
Oh, that's cool.
We put like 30 miles.
You felt like you felt like you were in Kansas City again with us, right?
Yeah. It was pretty funny because I'm into some extreme sports. So after we were riding those scooters for a while, I was jumping the curbs and I was locking up the rear tire, sliding like 30 feet. And my buddy, he came up to me and he's like, I am laughing so hard back here because you just pull this like 20-foot skid and it screeches throughout the whole downtown. It sounds like a car crashing. It's just, and then he said, everybody's looks. And then they see this old man and they're like, what the?
So how about you, Ike? You're in a different position today.
On that, I'm gonna open beer.
Before I address that, I want to find out how many fruit flavored beer did Paul discover in this adventure.
Here's one from Station 26.
Tangerine.
So last week I had to fill in for you with my imported Corona.
Oh, nice.
Today I'm going to fill in. Let's see. Come on, focus. With the Modelo.
A special edition, huh?
Yeah. So I'm going to join you today.
Well, cheers. All right, man.
Cheers, sir. I'm off tomorrow, so sorry I didn't make you aware, Ike.
Yeah, there's a fridge just close by, so I'll probably walk in that direction. But yeah, I've been really up to no good all day. It's been crazy. Literally, my home theater is just completely shredded, and then I'm building a second home theater in the house, and that's what I've been doing.
Wow,
all freaking day, and maybe I can give you guys just a quick walkthrough or whatever sometime during the show. But yeah, I've been staying busy. Plenty of fun stuff, and looking forward to a long weekend. So
very nice, very nice. Well, without further ado, let's bring some of those guests that we talked about. So, Mr. Bill, returning.
Hello, guys.
Morphonics Home Theater. Mr. Bill's, and then we got JD joining us in.
Hello, everyone.
From Digital Movie Board. And then we got Xavier. How's it going, guys?
Great. Great to be here again, guys. Always fun on this show. And you know what? I figured since it's the start of a long weekend, I think I might join Paul in having a nice brewski tonight.
Hey, man.
All right.
Let's do it.
I'm going to go take a look and see what's in the fridge. I'll be right back.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. So, Mr. JD, how about you introduce yourself a little bit? Bill is known on the channel. He's been on several times, but so how about you introduce yourself a little and tell us about yourself?
Well, I feel like I'm on Family Squares or the Brady Bunch here with this grid. But yeah, I'm Jamie De La Garza, owner, CEO of Digital Movie Boards. And this guy next to me is Xavier. Otherwise over here known as Neo, because he is the one. He codes everything and makes everything possible. So what you see on our software right there, that's the guy.
That's the guy.
He is the one.
So what is this, an email so we can reach right directly? No.
You got to use that phone. You know how the movie these phone called in.
There we go.
Yeah. So we
right.
are the developers of Digital Movie Board and the software, the DMB software. We have it currently on our DMB Pro, and that's the one that we have been. I guess it's been out in the field for around 3 years already.
Okay.
And then recently, well, God, not even that recently anymore. It was mid last year we came out with the Nano, which is a smaller, lighter version of the Pro. A lot of people were asking for one that wasn't so expensive and didn't have all the bells and whistles. So, Neo came up with the light version. Basically, it's half of the Pro. No video capabilities, but it fits the bill for a lot of people at a much better, budget-friendly price.
Very nice. Very
Yep.
nice. So, Xavier, are you in the home theater hobby or just programming?
Not too much on the home theater side for me, but I do like lots of tech stuff, like having like the magic mirrors and the digital movie board display. I think all that stuff's pretty cool.
I could tell by
Great.
watching what he was doing today that he's a computer expert level for sure. So,
He's being humble,
you.
by the way. Being very humble.
Well, you are joined, Xavier, by two other computer gurus here. Not myself at all. These guys are computer engineers here. So Ike and Croson. So and Paul. So you guys can. I'm sure you guys can take this conversation completely sideways if you wanted to.
I was going to say it'll be a relief to talk to people.
I was going to ask, what language do you program your digital boards in? And how much Java did you use? Hopefully none.
I mean, is it okay to?
Mm-hmm.
Don't spill the beans, but you can. Do not spill the beans.
Yeah. No trade secrets, obviously.
No trade secrets.
Yeah.
We're using a PHP for our app.
Okay.
It's a web app.
That's good.
Yeah. So these two guys, Paul and Ike, are who I call if I can't log into my email. No, I'm just playing. They're much more tech savvy than that. But yeah. So but
don't you still have an AOL account?
Yeah, no, man. No, MSN.
I actually have my MySpace page.
Oh my god.
No judging.
So great to have you guys on. So you guys probably aren't too familiar with the show, but what we do like to do here is talk about what we had going on the past week, and we can see Ike, he's had a lot going on today. But Paul, sounds like you had a good week. You talked about going all through Colorado. Were you able to partake in any home theater movies or
nope.
exciting
my
concerts or something like that?
Yeah, my views were live concerts.
Nice.
So and also went paddleboarding on Evergreen Lake in the mountains.
Now I heard you talking. You went to the
Coors.
Went to Red Rocks, but did you do that hike on that trail that's right by Red Rocks there? Because I did that when I was out there.
Well, we walked
right
up from our parking spot. We didn't park in the parking lot, so yeah, we hiked a lot.
Oh, that was enough of a hike, right?
Yeah, I was like, man, okay, that's enough.
Yeah,
like I'm out of shape.
And there's a warning sign there that says, "Be careful of the bears," and if you see them, just yell at them, and they'll run away from you. Well, or was it bears, or was it? I don't forgot what it was. Cougars, possibly, or something like that. There was a mountain lions. I don't know. Somewhere there was just a nice casual warning there.
Tigers, and bears. Oh
yeah.
My!
Oh my!
The only thing we saw were deer right on the 5 feet away. People probably feed them or something.
Right.
And
right.
They're like right there, and it's like, yeah, I've seen deer before. They get in my yard.
So who did you see at Red Rocks? Who did you see play there?
Dirty Heads.
Okay.
So
not familiar.
Yeah, it's a kind of like a reggae band. So it's
party band.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool deal. So I was able to partake in some movies for this week, and the bad part about it is my theater's at a point to where I can watch movies now, even with 2 subs unhooked and no rear surrounds. I'm still enjoying the shit out of it, man. I'm telling you, it's so not a lot of progress has gotten done on framing out the rest of the fabric wall, but I did watch a couple movies. I watched the movie Drop with my wife. Basically, it was about somebody that was in a restaurant with this lady, and they were airdropping messages to her, and she was on a date, and basically, they threatened to kill her kid if she didn't do something. I'm not going to ruin the movie.
Wow.
But yeah, it was a decent movie. It was, there were some pretty cheesy parts at the end, towards the end. I won't spoil anything, but it was a good watch. It was a decent watch. So I would suggest that. And then, as usual, I always have to talk about some kind of kids movie because that's what my son. My son's only 5 years old, so we have to watch PG movies. So we watched literally every SpongeBob movie that there is on Netflix.
Dang.
Nice.
And I'm telling you what, guys.
No, let's be real. Yeah, SpongeBob is as much for adults as it is for kids.
Gosh, yeah.
I'm telling you,
the inside jokes are the best.
My wide channels did not shut off.
Oh wow!
And the bass,
interesting.
The bass, and there was rear panning to the front. There was panning all over. Wide channels did not shut off. Every one of the 3 movies that were on Netflix, just very, very good theater experience. So if you guys like SpongeBob, definitely go check that out. I didn't upmix anything. It was just straight Dolby Atmos. So I enjoyed all 3 of them. We binged watched them right together.
Nice.
Boom, 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 boom.
Nice.
So it's crazy that they recorded, of all movies, SpongeBob SquarePants in Atmos.
I know. Yeah. It's like that. It's almost like a joke. Almost. It's like let's mix them. Do a Dolby Atmos mix for this. That's crazy.
Maybe it was a joke. It is SpongeBob.
Somebody was probably kidding, and then they said, "Yes, let's do it in Atmos." That's great. I'll have to go back and see.
You'll have to go back and check those out. They're free. Obviously free on Netflix if you got a subscription. I believe one of them just got taken off, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere. I think June 30th was the last day for it, but I'm sure you can find it somewhere else. But yeah, definitely an enjoyable experience. And then on top of that, I put these like paper blinds up on the sides because I have 3 windows in the theater, and I took them down to start blocking this framing out. And I was absolutely impressed because we watched these almost in the middle of the day to where there was light coming in, and the NZ8 just shined. It just pushed enough light. It wasn't washing the screen out. The front 2/3 of my room, there's no windows or whatever, and it's all black behind there. But man, I was impressed with the picture, even with the lights, with natural light coming in.
You're talking about the JVC NZ8 or
the JVC NZ8. Yep. So I was impressed. I mean, it's like 2,500 lumens that I had cranking up. I had it on full light power, but
wow,
man, it was on a 160-inch screen. It was just pushing. It was pushing light. So it was good. So I was impressed with that. Yeah, so how about you, Bill? Have you partaken in any movies?
I actually had a very active week movie-wise. Mostly because last week I kind of did the studio tour before, and I have all that Magtheatron speakers in here. And when you were here, you saw the LC and R were all 8-inch models of the Performance Series.
Right.
I had the M15s down in my storage space, and I'm getting ready to ship them out to a customer, but I wanted to bring them home, test them, make them sure they were working because they've been sitting there for a while. So they're temporarily sit up in here. And you were here before. There's barely enough room for them. They're the same size as the Hammer 15s, and I have them temporarily set up in front of the 8s. And I mean, amazing. So even cleaner and smoother high end, of course, like some deeper low end too that works really well with the hammer. They're really designed to work with each other, and when you hear them together, you can tell. So to put them through the ringer, I finally got my copy of the Pink Floyd Live at Pompeii disc that was just released. Well, it was released a couple months ago, but I finally got it, and oh man, just insane. It was just like you were right there. It was an incredible experience. I highly recommend it, especially anybody who's well, you don't necessarily even have to be a Pink Floyd fan. It's if you're a fan of music, just to see the history that happens with them playing in that incredible venue and the footage. And then there's also there's some footage of them recording parts of Dark Side of the Moon in there, and it was really a treat. Watched that more than once in the last week or so. And then the other thing I'll share with you guys is I know you guys all know somebody like this, but I have a friend who's a movie collector hobbyist who kind of gets movies, like how you're not supposed to get movies. Okay. And so he piqued my yes, torrent. So he piqued my interest by telling me he had a 4K file of The Amateur, which is a new movie. The one with the Rami Malek, I guess is the guy's name, the guy that was in the Queen movie. He's the lead in that. And I was like, oh, that's interesting because it hasn't even been released yet. It's actually set to be released on 4K on July 8th. He goes, oh, yeah, no, I downloaded a 4K copy of it. And I said, well, that'll be interesting to see. It wasn't that so much that I was anxious to see the movie, but I was anxious to see what kind of thing they're downloading. And it's really interesting. There's a very popular torrent site that has 4K rips of things and they often release stuff before it comes out. Now, I don't know how that happens. I don't know how they get the source or what they get it from. And then when I finally did watch it, he's watching it with me going, oh, looks great. It sounds great. But I could completely tell that there's some under the hood compression going on that I was reading some comments after I watched it on some forums that people were describing the same version of the movie that I saw, and somebody described it perfectly. He said it was good, the picture was decent, but the sound reminded me of 80s Dolby Pro Logic is really what it sounded like, because it was wide and everything was kind of discreet, but it was just, you could feel it was very limited. The whole soundscape was not as dynamic, and it just sort of sat in a smaller place as usual and than normal. And it was interesting to watch it as I got about halfway through the movie. The movie was okay. Well, I think the movie's a little overrated if you ask me, but I just felt very disappointed because it's not how I prefer to see the movie, and a little bit of guilt kicked in watching that thing going, I'm not supposed to be watching this.
Well, they release those things in certain areas at different times, right?
Sure.
So
other countries,
if it's streaming, somebody has a bit like, what do they call it? A VPN. They can pull that thing and save it to their computer and all kind of stuff like that.
Here was the telltale sign, though. I go, you got a 4K rip of it? Let me see it. And as I went to transfer it, I noticed that it was 6.5 gigabytes. I'm like, oh, okay. Yeah. That's first of all, that's not scientifically, that's not even 4K. And I don't know how and that said, I would say that the quality sat somewhere between DVD 720 and Blu-ray 1080. It was, it was okay. It was watchable. And if it was on like a portable device, like an iPad or a laptop, I'm sure it would be fine for most. But once you get into an advanced system like this, it's just, so people don't get me wrong, I don't make a habit of that, and I try to stay away from that kind of stuff.
So how long are you going to have the other speakers in the
How long am I going to jail? No. I'm going to have these in here probably for another week or so.
I need to get down there then.
I think so. It's worth it. They're a little underpowered right now because they're coming off of my TQ3000, which is a 4-channel amp, which is usually running my left, center, and right. And those M8s are rated at about, I think, 300 watts each, and they're getting 750.
Okay.
The M15s are rated at 1,000, so they're sort of underpowered. That said, the size of my room prevents me from turning them up to where as loud as they could go. So it's you really do get a decent experience for that speaker. I would highly recommend. If somebody had an M15 LCR, I would recommend the TQ8000, which is 4 times 2,000 watts. Would be plenty of headroom, and those things would just sound phenomenal. But they definitely have that, that physical, for lack of a better term, commercial theater sound to them. It's almost like you can hear the wood in the cabinets. It's just so, very, very tactile.
Yeah, I'll have to come down and check those out. Maybe I'll get up with you for maybe the middle of next week.
That would be great. Love to. We can do. And so anybody listening that's in the area, anywhere in Florida, if you get down to the Fort Lauderdale area, hit me up. You can find me at murphonicshometheater.com. And I mean, I have this room set up for the foreseeable future with this stuff in here. And now, finally, it's all paid for. So this personal system that I have is mine. I don't plan on selling it. I plan on selling this stuff, but
selling the equipment,
not the actual stuff in my room. It's going to stay with me now, and it's going to go with me whenever I build my dream home theater room in the near future.
Very good. So JD, how about you? Have you had any watched any movies lately?
I work a lot, like every day.
Right.
And I typically get home around 8 or 9 p.m. So it doesn't really leave too much time to watch movies. But I did finish watching Mobland on Paramount.
Everybody keeps telling me to watch that.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of, like the Sopranos type, a great movie. And then, Tom Hardy, just great actor. But there's a few other actors in there very well known. And that entire series, it was just, I think, one season, really good. So I binged that one from start to finish.
Nice.
Same thing with Andor. So, you can probably guess that most of my watching is streaming, and at home, I don't have a proper theater room yet. And it's right now, my system just consists of a full Sonos, the full Sonos surround. Hey, look, gets the job done at 10 o'clock at night, right?
If it's something you enjoy, it's something we enjoy.
But so you sure have the product that'll introduce you to the room with the digital movie boards. But
yeah. And here in the office, so here I'm in my office at my shop, and we have right on the other side of this wall a small little theater. So it's more.
Gotcha.
It's got a Denon 6700, I believe. It's right now it's a full KEF system. Right?
Okay.
Dolby Atmos.
Great stuff.
Yeah. So two 12-inch subs from Klipsch. The KEF 9s with the big center as well. KEF rears, KEF in ceilings. It's small. It won't allow for a big projector, but there is a 70-inch direct view. And then I've got a Kaleidoscape, Arvolution, Plex, everything in a rack.
Oh yeah.
So
we're gonna have to check that out if we got time here before the end of the show.
Yeah. I mean, it's nothing fancy, but on the weekends, sometimes I'll come in here and watch a proper movie with the whole surround sound and Atmos.
There we go. How about you, Xavier? Do you you said that you're more on the computer side, but do you ever get a chance to watch any movies?
Oh yeah, I usually do it occasionally with my friend. We both kind of like have a thing for horror movies. So
there you go.
Very good.
Yeah, I remember some of the best films we watched was A Quiet Place.
There you go.
That was a good movie.
Yeah,
definitely.
And just recently, we watched Final Destination: Bloodlines.
Oh, the new one.
That brand new one. You saw it in the theater?
Yeah, and actually, this was my first time seeing a Final Destination movie, so it was pretty.
Really?
It only took 20.
Yeah. Can I tell you, I've never seen one of them, but I did when I actually went to I think it was when I went to see the Pink Floyd in the theater in IMAX. I saw the preview of that new one. Oh boy. And even the preview alone is pretty terrifying.
Yeah, it's just like bloody and gory.
Yeah, that's great. I'm gonna have to check that out. It came out on Kaleidoscape last week, so I'm definitely gonna have to check that one out.
This show has become a really good source for people who want to get an idea of what to watch and see. Because usually at the top of every show, you guys are recapping at least a few movies. I know it's been an inspiration for me. Like, oh, I have to see that. So, and Mobland is definitely on the to-do list for sure.
Yeah,
Good one.
I'm gonna have to check that out.
Mhm.
So, Ike, now that you're back in your regular position, um,
Missionary.
Took him some time.
I'm just leaving that one alone.
how about you, sir? I know that you've been busy, but any chance that you got to sit down and watch any movies? We're not
muted.
hearing any. We're not hearing any audio
muted.
from you, sir.
Yeah, he's not muted.
We'll come back.
His
We'll come
microphone's
back to him.
disconnected.
Yeah. He's got too
There
many
we go.
buttons.
There he goes.
How about now?
Yeah, there you
Mikey check
good.
1, Mikey check 2. We got you.
How about now?
We got you. You're good.
Okay.
Is that an SM7 with that fancy
I
purple
did not get
windscreen?
to watch anything, but the kids did. So they watched a couple of movies. So the theater got used, but I was just busy with other stuff and
Very good.
I've been busy all last couple of days. But I'm looking forward to this weekend, though.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Getting a whole new theater set up, man, that's going to be nice. So hopefully you'll be able to give us a little tour of that too if we got time here. Let's go ahead and check in with the chat. So Derek, thank you for joining us. C Big, appreciate you. Benny is in the chat as usual. What's up, Benny? How are you? Derek Hall, thank you so much. Michael, Rich, what's going on, Rich? When you gonna stop? When you gonna stop being armchair quarterback and join the show, man? Come on.
He said he was trying.
There he is, right there. Look at that. I drummed him up.
Wow.
I drummed him up. Look at that. What's up, Rich?
What's up, guys?
Thank you for joining us. Appreciate that, man.
Good.
So we got, like I said, we got Mike. We got Vince. Vincent says that he was checking out Sinners. I want to check that out too, but it's just still too expensive on Kaleidoscape for me to pull the trigger on that one. It's like $39, so I'm waiting for it to.
It's a good movie.
Kind of like an oxymoron for someone to say a movie's too expensive.
I'm
like,
well on Kaleidoscape,
grand.
right?
Oh, my players, that's $30, man. I don't want to spend that.
It's too expensive for
I
my
got too much other-
$8,000 system.
Yeah,
Hey.
exactly. It's like, huh? What? That kind of makes me go.
Look,
huh?
The
What?
jokes write themselves, man.
Yeah.
They really do.
Look, I put movies on my wish list, and I wait for them to hit the discounted pricing. So unless I absolutely have to have it. So Xavier, you say Sinners was good.
Oh yeah, I watched it a while back with my friend. Great
Yeah,
movie.
very good.
I
Very good.
really do recommend it.
Cool. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. I downloaded a couple movies from Kaleidoscape the other day because they were on sale. Like Big Hero 6 right now is a classic, right? It's $14, so you can't beat that. I'm probably gonna download the Ballerina, the new John Wick. That just came out. Thunderbolts 29, but let me see where Sinners is sitting at right now for the price.
I don't know about you guys, but I like Thunderbolts. I know it got a lot of flack, after it came out. I loved it.
I haven't watched a lot of those movies just because I've been waiting for my theater to get done. So and this is a long running joke, so I'm going to catch shit for this, but I'm on my 4th year of building my theater, but it's finally almost
You're on
there.
your 87th episode of building a new theater.
I'm surprised he hasn't upgraded his projector twice already.
Right.
Because that's what he does. He's upgraded components.
I've upgraded speakers twice since he's been building his.
Yeah, so $34.95 right now for Sinners on Kaleidoscape. So I'll wait. So, but
It was
but
$39
yeah.
before.
What's that? Yeah, it was $39 before. It dropped $5,
before,
I
right.
guess. Have you seen that one, Rich?
I glimpsed it, not in its entirety, but I watched a bit of it.
Okay. You did.
I've also had a look at Mission Impossible.
How was that one?
The new one?
Yes, the new one. I had a look at that.
How did you get that one already?
And
That one's not even on Kaleidoscape yet.
don't worry about it.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
We got another one. We got another one. How many gigabytes was it?
That was actually about 28.9.
Oh, well, that was actually maybe the real thing. Who knows?
Or 289 megs, maybe.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No, gigs. It was 20.
Yeah. He's just
Okay.
giving you a
Anyway.
hard time, Rich.
Yeah.
So,
I also looked at F1, the movie.
oh,
Which was
nice.
quite,
Oh, yeah.
which was
Oh.
okay.
I heard that was good.
Yeah,
Came very close
Yeah,
to
that
going
was
to
okay.
theater to see that the other night.
I am
Back
going to
row.
go see that in 4DX. I saw a TikTok of what the 4DX theater was doing with that movie. Man, I'm telling you what, there's not a chair that sits still.
Wow.
It shoots
Wow.
smoke into the theater.
So even more highly recommended than IMAX, I guess you would say.
Yes.
Okay.
It
That's good to
shoots
know.
smoke
And
into the
ironically,
theater.
because and ironically, when I watched that, I immediately went back and watched Days of Thunder.
Mhm.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because it's kind of similar.
Yep.
So I
Well,
went
that's
back
going to
and
be
caught
my
that
new
one.
routine when these big blockbuster movies come out. I want to make a point of seeing them in the theater and then having that as a reference for when I finally see it on disc in my home theater, so you can make a
Right.
fair comparison on how well it translates. So, like that was what I did when I watched the Pink Floyd in IMAX when it came out live in Pompeii. I was getting giddy halfway through the movie because it sounded so great, and all I could think of was I can't wait to hear this in my room, and it did not disappoint. Of course,
Nice.
it's always better when it's more intimate and you're closer to the speakers.
Yeah.
So, but the placement was the same. Like the guitar was in the back left corner in the IMAX theater, and it was pretty much the same kind of setup in the Atmos version. So, and then I did as a side note, I'm hearing this a lot too on a lot of comments. People are comparing the Atmos mixes to the Atmos to 5.1, and not so much with movies, but also with those pure audio Blu-ray discs of music. That a lot of people are finding that the 5.1 mixes are punchier and more direct and tactile than the Atmos. Atmos is a little more spacious and spatial, I guess is the word, and around you. But if you really want that impact of coming directly at you, 5.1 seems to be doing a better job as far as music goes. Anyway, I don't know how that works out in movies. I'm sure movies Atmos serves them a lot better.
Yeah. I also got to see one more. I think I saw Ballerina. Ballerina was good.
You did.
You did see Ballerina. Yeah, I want to check that out too. So getting back to the chat, we got Next Level Acoustics in. Thank you so much for joining us.
Is that Rob?
Appreciate it.
Hey, Rob.
A fan of DMB.
Love DMB.
Got to be Rob.
So thank you so much for joining us. Appreciate you. So going to ask all of you guys in the chat, if you haven't already done so, please make sure you like, subscribe to all of our channels: Horizon Home Theater, Easy Home Tech, Easy HT Tech, Brews and Views,
Inside
and
the home theater.
Inside the Home Theater. Do you have a YouTube channel yet?
Me?
No, yeah, I know you have a YouTube channel.
Yeah, no. Who are you asking?
JD?
Oh, we do. Yeah, we have a digital movie boards. Nothing fancy. I am certainly not the YouTuber, so it's basically just promos that we run on our social media. I just kind of copy them over there.
And then you also embed those on your website too and stuff, so people can see them directly there.
I'm kind of learning this whole YouTube thing, right? So, I'm old school. I'm 58 years old. I'm going to be 59 next month. And, I grew up stereo only. And so that's kind of my thing. And I know it's kind of ironic because, movie theaters and movie boards is what we do. But I'm more music, stereo. That's it, and so this whole YouTube thing and influencer and
well, this is the this is the post-pandemic world we live in. This was a home theater industry just all went to YouTube after this. After all the mom and pop stores closed their demo rooms and places where you could walk in and listen to speakers, now it just That's become so scarce now that the most exposure this industry gets is on YouTube now.
Well, I mean, like myself, it's you wind up doing it out of your own home, right? So that you're not spending that brick and mortar money every single day.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, that's exactly what I'm going to have. I'm going to have a showroom set up for people to come demo my products. And
hey guys, let me interrupt real quick. Let me show you guys something
What's
that
going
just
on
happened.
there?
So I'm actually here trying to install. This is the Aperion Audio. I think it's the T65W in-wall speaker, as you can see. And ideally, you would expect it to fit into a store, right? 16 on center. And then guess what happened? We cut the 16 on center store, and the in wall is actually wider than 16 on center. And it's even deeper than the average.
Oh wow! So it
it's
doesn't
not
even
even
fit.
going to fit into the hole we just cut.
Oh boy!
Yeah, you could just.
That's an easy patch.
Yeah.
No, but no, the patch is
yeah.
not the. That's not the concern. It was just
It's just the humor. Yeah, you're like.
Yeah,
oh,
it was
no.
just the humor that crap. We thought we had this locked there, and then we cut the wall, and it's like it's wider.
No job is complete until you make at least 3 trips to the
Look,
hardware store.
looks like it's now an on wall.
Yeah.
It's nothing a little bit of duct tape can't fix. Oh, good.
Yeah, and the irony is, we have the on walls already mounted, for the LCR, and we wanted to get the in walls as the surrounds, and I'm like, ooh, now I gotta find an alternative solution. But it was just an interesting find. I thought I'd just let you guys know, if you're trying to get one of these, this is already part of my review, right? If you're trying to get one of these, it might not fit into your standard store enclosure. Yeah, that was fun. Well, I'll go back behind the scene. Let you guys continue.
like you said, until you make a couple mistakes, you're never gonna know, right? So,
yeah.
Are any of you guys have any home installation background?
Besides building my entire theater from
I think we all do to some degree.
Yeah, I used to do. Started off with the phone company. I used to install.
There you go.
So
I did
a lot of attic experience.
I did Comcast cable for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I spent probably the good part of about a decade in the early 2000s doing installation and integration with a company, a friend of mine. So it was everything from, pulling out the old vintage stuff and replacing the whole house with Sonos to, 1 or 2 really, really high level home theaters. And that's really what got me into it. I was like, wow, I want to do this now.
Then we can all sympathize with Ike, where puts it out and it's but it's not standard.
I'm grateful for all the mistakes I made in this room that I built, because I will be so prepared when it comes time to build my, my dream room. Mm-hmm. You learn all the ins and outs. You can't really learn the right things to do until you bump into the wrong things.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to make a few mistakes, In my room, I got a couple. I mean, I try to be absolutely perfect with doing everything in my room, which you're not going to get that from anybody else that builds it, right?
Right.
So nowadays, and
now the best part is we all know how to cut corners. The custom installers that come in and build the telescoping walls that'll go in. Those can be really, really expensive, but now we know the ins and outs of how to put those together for a fraction of the price. So there's little things like that I learned along the way. That I'm glad I took the time to learn, and so like when the time comes, I'll be ready to do it right.
Yeah.
At next level, I'm actually looking at your in-wall subs to use as near field. So I'm really interested in that subwoofer. Maybe I can reach out to you guys about that. So, but yeah, they have
I would wait another year to give him something that the ones that actually
fabric is going to be done very shortly, man. So fabric and lighting, and that's going to be it. So everything will be put back together. But yeah, so all right, let's go ahead and move on to Mr. JD here. We got tell us a little bit about this digital movie boards.
All right. Well, we were talking a little bit before the show started about other software that's out there that does something similar, with movie posters. We're not, with DMB, with the software, we're not really trying to be like anybody else. What we're trying to do is kind of give options to people, let them kind of see which version they want to go with. And there's a lot of other options that display movie posters. But when we started DMB, one of the requirements that I made myself was don't reinvent the wheel, right? If there's already a movie poster app out there that a lot of people love, leave it alone, right? We're not going to be in any type of competition or anything.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I got with Xavier, we tossed around a lot of ideas on how we could kind of take it this way when everybody else has gone this way, right? And we started off, or where Xavier came on board when we still had our the Pro app, which is currently out there, was out already about a year. It's been out about 3 years in total. And Xavier was brought on board when it was already 1 year in. And we were like, okay, well, what can we do that'll really make this different and a whole new experience for people that they haven't really seen before? And we kind of, spitballed and came up with some very, very cool ideas. And I got to say, at first I was like, yeah, I'm very skeptical. Like, no, you're not going to pull this off, Xavier. There's just no way. What you're talking about is just ridiculous. And then a week later, he shows me a prototype, and it's working.
And by that you mean the integration into the systems themselves, so that
even before that.
Oh, okay.
Right, even before that. So we had integration with Kaleidoscape, Arvolution, and Plex, right? And we're able to get that integration because we work real tight with Kaleidoscape and Arvolution and Plex. And so we have access to some of their code that other people wouldn't be able to have access to. And that extra code allows us to pull in more information, more data from the user's library. And so that allowed us to kind of brainstorm and come up with unique ways of using that extra data and displaying it on a screen. The hard part was trying to figure out how to do it, a cool way to do it, right? And that's where Xavier came in, right? He's got a lot of experience in user interfaces and in just detail. He can really see the detail in certain things. And like, I don't have the eye. Like, my eyes are shot. I got to wear glasses, but I have ideas. And one good thing about Xavier and me is that I can tell him what I'm after, and he knows exactly to take it, develop it, and it's better than what I had thought, right? So Xavier came up with these cool ideas like the display view. So we've got the live view, we've got the classic poster view, we've got the summary view. And basically the summary view and the live view allows us to take all of that extra metadata that we're able to get from the players and then be able to package it and show it off in very cool ways, right? That have never been done before. It's not that I know of. The live view being kind of like the poster child, it's got the trailer, it's got a poster, it's got the summary, it's got the name, it's got the ratings, all that cool stuff is pulled in, and it's aggregated, for all the posters and all the movies that they've got in their library.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're able to display it in a very cool way and let the people choose how they want to see their posters on the screen, right? If they just want to do regular posters, we got that, right? Our classic poster view. If they want a little bit more information from the movie, we got a very cool summary view that will put the poster in a nice blur background with a bigger marquee that scrolls throughout, for the summary of the movie. And then if they want the live view, I mean, that's a pretty cool view, shows everything on it at once. And we can only do that with that direct integration. And so that's kind of where we started to really brainstorm on a whole bunch of other areas that we could explore that haven't been explored before with other apps, right? And so like right here, that's on Bill's TV, and that's one of our live views.
If you want, I can show you what happens now. It is in live view right now. It is basically just scrolling through my collection with all the metadata, the description of the movie, like you said, the ratings and all that stuff. Boy, you were seeing way too much of the rest of my studio in here too, but
sorry.
And it is still a little blurry. But anyway, no big deal. You can still get the idea. And then you can set that rate of scrolling to whatever time you want. You can keep it up there for 30 seconds, 5 seconds, 8 seconds, whatever. I have it set for 10. And then in live view, well, actually in any view mode, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a movie on Arvolution. And as soon as I start that movie, this will, all right, so I'm going to go to Godzilla -1. And
excellent choice.
Now I'm pulling up, you can't see it, but it's on my screen behind me. It's the title page in Arvolution. And now as soon as I hit play on Godzilla, the board will switch to now playing mode as the movie starts. Now playing on Arvolution, and it shows the summary of that movie. And those,
very nice.
The top and the bottom, there's a couple of different options for what that will say at the top. And then I have custom banners at the bottom. The one I have up there says Murphonics Cinema. Now, when I stop the movie and back out of it, it'll go back into the scrolling mode like that. And Studio 94 is the name of the room that I have, because obviously you can see it's also a recording studio with a half of a drum set showing over there. But so that's the really cool feature. And I know I'm cutting JD off a little bit here, but today I actually discovered something really cool. So in my Arvolution system, I built an extra category called Studio Videos, and basically it's personal stuff that I have either from live performances from bands that I've seen or, things like that. But my brother who's the drummer, I'm also a singer, but we did a cover of a Foo Fighters song a few years ago. Basically, it was just a test of all the equipment when we built our new studio. And we had a real professional video editor come in and do the final product for us. It's a 6-minute video. So now that is in there. I built it a custom poster for like a cover poster. And I got it in my category, my custom category in here in Arvolution. I'm turning around here so I can pull it up. So I go to it and then I hit it. Not only does it show in now playing, but I also uploaded a copy of the video itself into digital movie boards where it said add custom animation. And so when I hit play on this video, it goes to now playing, shows the special custom poster that I made, and then also the video starts up on the top over it. You can select the speed that clip plays at, so I put it in slow motion, so it's sort of like just in the background playing. And that all happens at the same time, and that's all custom content that I created myself. Wow. And it just shows up as if it's a commercial movie the same way. So then when I stop that, and then it goes back into the regular scrolling mode. So that's, just to scratch the surface on how customizable it is and how, how specific you can get with it. And you can have a lot of fun with this board, with this product.
Yeah,
man, that's pretty cool right there. I like that a lot.
And then not only that, but you can have, if you have a special event, I think that you could see when you had that shot of the 3 boards across, there was the one on the right that had like a schedule of upcoming movies. Like if you had the other shot that you had of JD's
the
web page from his web page.
From his web page. Let me go.
And the one on the right was sort of coming soon. We're going to be showing this movie on Tuesday, this movie Wednesday night, like you would outside of a commercial theater. You can customize that to the point where if you had a party, let's say, and you wanted to celebrate somebody's birthday or an anniversary, you could do artwork with that. And so when they show up at your theater, they get greeted with, a picture of themselves or happy birthday so-and-so on that or whatever.
Yeah.
And do custom banners for your events. I don't know what the limit is on them, but you can have like as many different custom banners in there and switch them in and out at will, It's really, really cool.
So I guess we can ask. I'm sure JD knows this, but let's get the technical guy involved. How many posters can I shove into this thing?
You can, well, right now, I believe well, in the past, we were delivering our units with 600 posters preloaded, so you can
Wow,
actually store a lot.
Wow.
very
And
good.
for our media integrations, because those are online, they don't really take up any space in your
Right. So Xavier, the only thing really taking up space in mine now is that video that I uploaded into the system, right? So that
right.
that 80 megabytes or whatever on that MP4 that I put in there, that takes up my space. But the rest of the posters are coming from the database and just streamed basically
Hmm.
to the system, which is really
Right.
cool.
That's pretty awesome that you can customize. I'm not familiar with the other program. I just know that I think I was telling you backstage, JD, I bought myself the little mini computer. I bought myself a frame TV, or actually two frame TVs. I was going to use one on each side, but I've now X'd one of those, so I'll probably only be using one right outside the theater. But that was my plan, was to use the other company. But so give us not to bash the other company, because they're doing an excellent job too. Like you said, they got a good following. But can you highlight a couple key things that your board would do that program's not doing right now? You said you turn left or you turn right, and they turn left at certain point. Can you highlight in on what some of the key features that would separate the two of you?
Yeah, absolutely. So you're probably referring to Movie Poster app, very popular app that's out there. I used it many, many times in the past. You got to give major props to the developer, and more so to the community that backs up the Movie Poster app, because they've kept it alive for years. I think the app came out maybe, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe. Could be wrong, but it's a DIY app made for the DIY community, and it's been kept alive by the DIY community. Now, with that said, it's mostly a movie poster app that displays posters in your library, and then it does a lot of cool tricks with it, right? But it does require certain things, like it has to run on a Windows PC, and it does require a lot of tinkering with it. A lot of the DIY community is fine with that. And with DMB, we kind of did not want to have the user have a lot of tinkering, to involve himself with. We wanted things to run automatically. I'm kind of the model, that you want to watch your movie and enjoy the movie, but you don't want to be tinkering before the movie starts for 30 minutes or an hour trying to figure out why your poster board isn't doing this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so a lot of the things that we have implemented in our software are automated. You kind of just set it, pretty much forget it, right? But there's a flip side to that, and that's the customization, and that's where we veer off, right? So with our software, we have a ton of customization, purely optional, but it's there if people want to dive into it. And some of those features are the banners. It's probably the first big feature that people recognize as a DMB software is the banners. They're colorful, they're animated. We have 1,000 banners on our website that users can download and use on their board. And the
Nice.
banners, yeah, I mean, we have different colors, we have different styles, we have the marquee banners, we have live banners, which are banners that have some cool animations to them from the movie. We have different slogans on there. And then we have a section where you can build your own banner. Uh, Pick a banner style, you tell it what you want to say, and then we'll email that banner out to you within a couple of days. So you can have it say Mike's room, or Danny's birthday or happy birthday or whatever.
Right. Like
So
Studio 94, like I have on mine. Right.
Exactly.
So
So that alone opens up a ton of possibilities on how you can begin to use the poster board.
So
right?
when I create my own banner, right? Do I have to? Can I just automatically upload it myself, or do I have to send it to you to add to my board, or one? And then once I make that banner, will it be available to the rest of your community?
So the way we have it working is you fill out a form on the website. So you click on the build your banner, and it asks you, what do you want the top banner to say? What do you want the bottom banner to say? And what style
What
do you
color
want?
scheme, right? That kind of thing.
So
And
Horizon
then
Theater
you-
coming
Yeah, no, you can
not soon.
Coming not so soon.
Yeah.
15 minutes late.
Or tonight at 9:30 ish.
Yeah,
There you go, right?
Ish. Yeah, right.
So you can put anything you want on there. We get the form, and then Xavier, the man, Neo, he creates it. We normally like to give him a couple of days because he runs pretty busy, and then he'll email it back to the customer, and then the customer will have his own banner that he can upload to the board and use whenever he wants.
So how many revisions can I make if I don't like the actual banner that he made?
You better know what you're buying.
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing is, I mean, I'm very flexible. Both me and Xavier, we're real flexible. Like we understand people make mistakes and things like that. And I want the experience to be the best experience that they never had, right? That they just weren't expecting out of a movie poster kit, right? So that whole experience for me extends all the way into the website. When you're looking through it, you're watching the videos and you're placing orders, and even the interaction that the customer will have with me afterwards, right? Same thing with Xavier. If Xavier has to get on the line to do any technical work, we're known to give away banners to people, whatever they want. If we don't want them to be constantly calling us for an issue that they found, but because we appreciate the phone calls for these issues, because we can always put a fix for it and send it back out. But I understand that it takes some of the time away from the customer to have to deal with this, and kind of as a little, I'm sorry, we'll give them banners like, hey, what do you want? Let me load up your we'll load them up.
What is the let's say I just your machine was functioning 100%, and I just call you, I say, hey, I want, or I fill out the form, how do I want a banner? Is there an associated cost with that? Is that what I'm hearing here? How much to do a banner?
So a lot of the content that we have in our DMB store, so just to clarify, we have the website, but within the website we have what's called the DMB digital store. And in that section, that's where we have all the banners and all the content that we have for our boards. A lot of that content is free, like free. Basically, the only thing that we charge for is any content that we create, like the motion posters and the banners, right? And everything else, music videos, trailers, it's all free, right? Now, the reason that we charge for the banners is because it does take time to create them, right? Software is expensive. I mean, we all know, Adobe software is several hundreds of dollars, right? And we have to pay for all that. And so we do charge for the, for the sets, but they're very reasonable. So as you can see, we'll create sets of 10 banners with different slogans, $20.
Right.
I mean, it's a slice of pizza, right?
Yeah. That's one beer where I go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's because they're adding all that extra fruity shit to your beer.
Right. And then there's
and,
like
here you get 20 banner or 10 banners, right? And we got all kinds. We got themed, we got colors, we got slogans, we got a lot, and we're constantly making banners and putting them out there.
So I have a question on the customization. Let's say I have one of these poster walls in my theater, and it's actually in my theater.
Well,
AKA your living
ideally
room.
it would be outside your theater in the
that
door,
was
by
going
the
to be my
door.
question. If it has the ability to say now playing, like for the first intro of the Fox or whatever, dun, 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 and
Sure.
then have it fade to black and turn off.
Xavier, you want to answer that?
If it's like
For
a
the
custom,
Pro Plus. For the Pro Plus,
That's
what you're
something you
doing.
could
Go
do,
ahead and
yeah.
tell them.
So the Pro Plus, we're actually coming out with like a new format of banners. These will be much more high quality and 4K scale, so we'll be able to support a lot more color, make them a lot more smooth, and yeah, it'll be
But
really
also the
nice.
automations that you're putting into the software.
Right,
Right.
right. So you know, usually when you're integrating your media services with the board, and like Bill was showing earlier, when you start a movie on your Arvolution or Kaleidoscape, you want it to start playing on the board. Well, for the new app that we're coming out around next month, it's going to be a lot more seamless, a lot more integrated. You'll be able to set up automations where if any movie starts playing on any of your devices, it can automatically go and show that poster with whatever banners you want, whatever style. You'll even be able to customize the information, change it up to your liking.
Would you be able to black it out? Because like in Paul's situation, his theater is in his living area. He's got a great
Yeah.
room that he
Right.
uses. So if he hangs it, he wants it, to show everything starting, and then once the movie starts, can
Yeah.
it fade to black?
I probably wouldn't have it showing, because if you're in my house,
Right.
you're seeing
Oh, right.
playing. You know what I mean? Like it's the whole house. So
I mean, I have that feature because I just have the remote and I hit off as soon as because
that'll work.
mine's in the same room too because I don't have a lobby per se.
So I have another thought or a question. What if I have multiple, like I care, big baller over here, multiple theaters, and I have two devices playing?
Right.
Can you split top and bottom and say now playing theater one, now?
See, that's thinking ahead.
You got look. I told you got engineers
I'm an
here.
engineer as well, by the way.
Well, no, I mean it sounds like it's simple to do.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty difficult to do.
Yeah.
And we're doing it. We're doing it with the next update, the Pro Plus. That is a feature that me and Xavier have been working on for a long time. So it's part
for that
of
customer that
Here,
has a
let
Cineplex.
me look at line 20,000.
Oh, for that customer like Ike,
another
right?
question.
I mean, Ike's building a separate theater just a room away, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
here's the thing with that, right? A lot of people they purchase multiple boards from us, right? They don't just purchase one. A lot of people, at least our audience, most of our audience is buying, 2 or 3 or 4 boards for their lobby or for different sections. And so, kind of like you saw on the homepage of our website, we got the 3 boards on there in a theater room.
Mm-hmm.
Now, obviously, that's just to showcase them
for demo, right?
For demo, but a lot of people do have them, multiple boards, and like Bill said earlier, one board could be playing the coming soon movies in the scrolling fashion.
Yeah.
Another board could be playing the movie that is playing inside, right? And then another board could be showing like concessions posters. Now, here at our shop, that's kind of how I have it set up, right? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 movie boards just throughout our lobby, and they're all situated in certain areas. Like we have one going into the theater room. It's about, I don't know, like a 23-inch monitor, and that one just shows the scrolling coming soon movies, right?
That's
I'm
very cool.
On to show the available beers that are in the fridge.
Well, I mean, here's the thing, and not to venture too far out of the home theater realm, but it's the limits to what this thing can do are just up to your imagination. Because early into this, I had a phone call with JD because I was like, because I play in a band, and then we go to the regularly to this club that this guy just renovated and upgraded a lot of things. He expanded, made a bigger stage and all this stuff. And I'm good friends with the guy. And I was outside of his club one day, and I thought, wouldn't it be cool? Like, imagine that you owned a nightclub or a place that had live music, and you have outside your front door, you'd have 3 digital movie boards. Well, you don't necessarily have to use them as digital movie boards. You've got folders in the program that you can store your own artwork. Of course, you can build banners that say anything you want. So you could have playing tonight on the banner on one, coming next week, and then have like a schedule of your upcoming events on the third one, and have them all sit side by side outside your club, like you do at a commercial theater. When you walk up to the entrance of you walk by 5 or 6 of those usually outside of the commercial theater when you show up there. So it's really just up to your imagination, and that stuff is all, stored locally within the program, and you can change the artwork as you like. Each one of that board, the band playing tonight, you could have animated video of them in the background, and then a still shot of the band in front of that with playing tonight, and the name of the club on the bottom banner. I mean, that's just one of probably many different uses you could have for these things. But obviously, it's primarily a really cool luxury item for the real upscale home theater. I imagine it, if you had like a really deluxe home theater and you have big double doors that open up in the back where you go in, you'd have have 2 of them flanking your big doors. That makes for a really good presentation.
That was my plan at first, but I think I'm gonna put some cabinets over there just on the other side of the entryway. So I don't know. I bought 2 TVs. I got two frame TVs. So speaking of that, let's talk about logistics and what it takes to actually hang one of these boards, and what's necessary. For what do I need? Do I
JD,
need
if you don't
Ethernet?
mind me answering it, and you could correct me if I'm wrong or cut me off, but I mean, you could go the basic route like I did. So I purchased a 43-inch Pioneer Zumo, I think it's called. It's a 4K TV from Best Buy. I think it's on sale for like $139 right now for the 55-inch. I'm sorry, 43? Yeah, 43-inch. So, and then get the Digital Movie Board Pro, the DMB Pro, and hook it up to that. It automatically does the orientation for you as soon as you turn it on. It knows that it's mounted, vertically, and it does it there. That's the player right there. And then you could go, and you could do 43, you could do 55, you could do 75-inch if you want. But then you could go the real custom, beautiful, route with the custom boxes and boards that JD offers, and you can tell them about that, where it's all in one.
Yeah. So perfectly right, Bill. We have 3 different methods, I think, for users to use our products. So one would be you buy a kit. This is the DMB Pro, and it's the player. Like we were talking earlier, Don, this player runs our software. And the reason we use our own player to run the software is so that everybody has the same user experience.
Yeah.
One of the problems with one of the other types of software that is out there is that it runs on a Windows PC, but it has to have a certain set of hardware requirements. And some people would probably pull out a 15-year-old laptop to run it, and they're going to have a poor experience, as opposed to a person who has one of the newer computers that has graphics integration and more RAM and more memory. So we decided that we were not going to do a download version. It was going to be included in our player. The hardware specs in this player, it's running a Rockchip 3588, I believe.
Okay.
It's an 8-core CPU. It has an integrated GPU for hardware acceleration. That's very, very important. It has 16 gigs of RAM and 128 gigs of internal storage that we use for the OS. And so using this, you plug it into any 4K TV.
Right.
Doesn't matter what kind you have. You plug it in, it's small. We include a little magnet that you can attach to the back of it. And then you
like
can
a mini
attach
PC.
Yeah. I mean, that's what this is. It's a mini PC is all it is. But we only use these specs to run our software. That way, everybody gets the exact same experience.
And those are Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt. Those are Wi-Fi antennas on there, right?
Yep, Wi-Fi and Bluetooth.
Oh,
right? So
I see.
What's the what Wi-Fi are you using? 6, 7?
These are Wi-Fi 6.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay,
that's good enough.
Yeah, they should attach.
Ideally, you should use Ethernet, though. Ideally, right?
Ideally, you do want to use a hard line because then you eliminate any dropouts, any slow, transmission times,
right?
Things like that, and it just works all the time, right? So this is the Pro. Now we also have.
And then before you go there, but where does the Bluetooth fit in? Where does Bluetooth? What function does it?
The remote.
To come.
Coming soon.
Okay.
So you mentioned the fact that you have a remote. Is that just for the TV, Bill?
Oh no! I was just talking about the remote for the Pioneer TV.
Okay. All right.
I don't have a remote for the DMB.
Yeah, this at one time
it's a phone app. You do it with a phone app, an IP-based phone app.
Yeah. At one time, we did include a physical remote control with these that would help the user make the initial Wi-Fi connection when they first boot it up. But then Xavier, being the one, was able to incorporate a piece of code into the software where your phone just connected to our kit via Wi-Fi or as a hotspot, right? So once you connect to it as a hotspot, you can do the programming to enter your network,
right?
And then you're
kind of like the
Ring doorbell,
the little puck lights and the Ring doorbell and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So very easy, and a lot of people are already familiar with that process. And then we have this guy. This would be the second option, right? So this is our Nano. I freaking love this thing. This is just the coolest thing since sliced bread. So what this is it is a 6-core raw chip CPU. It's freaking fast. It has 8 gigs of RAM built in. It has 64 gigs of operating storage, eMMC. Wi-Fi, you can plug in a Wi-Fi antenna on here. It comes with it. If you're going to hardline it, you use a dongle that you attach here on the side. So it's got HDMI, your LAN dongle for hardline, and then this is your power. These are vents because we have a little fan in here to keep it cool, right? And then we have 2 integrated magnets back here. This is so that you can just attach it to the back of the TV and it stays there, right?
The dongle is the USB?
Well, it's USB-C, the connectors, but we include the dongle for the network. So you don't have to buy anything. When you buy this, you all that's lacking is your TV. Right? We include everything.
But what I was curious about the Nano, because you sent me one, but I still have not played with it. What is it about the Nano that it doesn't do compared to the DMB Pro?
Well, me and Xavier had a lot of talk about that.
What's the catch as far as how cheap it is? How inexpensive it is?
So basically, this is half of what the Pro is, right? The Pro can do posters and videos. So that's where with the Kaleidoscape, Arvolution, and Plex integration, you can pull in those videos like you showed, Bill. This one does not have a video engine built into it. We chose to leave the video engine out, and the reason for that was because a lot of people, and I understand that our DMB Pro is pretty expensive. I mean, it starts at $800, right? And you can drop 1,000 easy on it. And I get
so that's for the device alone.
That's just for this. $800 is where this starts.
Yeah, that's honestly not that bad, because even if you were to do something yourself, you're going to have to buy a couple $100 mini PC. Then you're going to have to spend hours programming the APIs.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what I currently do for my own using the other application, right? The other available software. Yeah. And then I had to get a mini PC and then connected to the back of the TV and
You might have to pay for
HDMI
the
and
software licensing.
And every once in a while, I got to reboot that thing, right? Because it's like, oh, you haven't turned off your PC. You haven't rebooted your PC in 7 days.
We all know
I'm like,
Windows, right? We're no strangers to Windows, right?
Yeah.
So is
Yeah.
this a like a Linux based OS
Yes.
that you're using? Okay, thank you.
Yeah. It's an ARM, right? The
I
rock
much
key,
appreciate that.
No Windows here.
You haven't
Xavier was
rebooted in 4 years. Well, yeah, I know. I don't need to.
Now,
It's
can
true.
can you simplify this, JD, by saying that the Nano is basically the DMB Pro minus live view?
Well, it's minus any video capabilities and direct integration. So,
okay.
For those people that they don't have Arvolutions or Kaleidoscapes, and they don't care about the fancy, trailers and the video,
Okay.
this has you covered, right? This runs a light version of our Pro Plus software that we're releasing next month.
So that would connect to my Zadoo, and if I was playing a movie.
No
integration.
No
integration.
CI.
It looked like Xavier wanted to add something there.
I know, right?
Oh, he's going to, because this is his field right here.
Talk to the hand.
Take over.
Right? No. I think what you're saying is that it. Oh wait, I just lost my train of thought.
You just interrupted Xavier too.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. We need the oracle. We need the oracle to speak.
The one.
I just wanted to correct Jamie. One thing that the Nano can do is play the motion posters.
Oh,
okay.
Good catch. Yes. Yes.
And that's another thing we recently started doing. So, we're taking movie posters to the next level, right? Instead of just flat static images, we're using AI to make them a lot more lively, a lot more animated.
Wow.
And so the Nano was sort of like our kickstart for that new feature.
So the Nano will pull posters from the database, but you can go in and tell it, I don't want to show this poster or that poster, or can you customize it so that it will only show movie posters that you want it to show?
Yeah.
Right. So it has a similar interface to the current Pro where you have your media manager, which is like the file manager. You create your folders. You upload your posters in there, and you basically pick which folder you want to play your movie posters from. So it's a simple interface, but we're giving the user like more control over what they want to display and such.
So how user friendly is this? Is there like a UI that's very, very user friendly for just the average Joe like myself that don't know how to sign into my email to navigate through this?
Yeah, will he be calling me is the question.
Is there a way that
I don't have one. Get out of here.
Can you allow me to share my screen? Like, can you do that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can hit the present button.
So down the bottom it says present, and then whatever you want to present, whatever window you want to present.
Okay, so it says present share screen, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Got it.
Then you can select the
You can
screen,
select whatever window you
browser
want to share.
window you want to share. So
Okay. So here is the little preview of our upcoming Pro Plus software. The Nano software is based on this as well, but this one here is connected to this one here. Okay, right behind me.
All right.
And so this is pretty much the user interface, which is quite a bit different.
Oh yeah, it is.
The Pro, right? And now the Pro is basically this guy here. Do you see this one?
Yep.
Right.
You might have to reshare your screen. It's still showing the Pro Plus.
Yeah, it's still showing the Pro Plus. So.
Yeah.
Okay, now I see it.
That's the interface for this one.
So this is the DMB Pro interface, the one that
I have.
Yeah. And it's based on tabs. So we can just select the tab and we can come in here and we can, like in this poster settings tab, we have some control over the duration of the posters. We can select what folder that we have created with content to play back. If we drop MP3 files into those folders, we can have, by selecting this button here, to play back the background music as well as it's
Nice.
playing.
Yeah, we forgot to mention it does play audio too.
Yep.
It reminds me like the Arvolution, right? When you're scrolling through the Arvolution, it'll play the background
as you
it'll
hover
also,
over a title,
it'll
right?
play
Yeah.
the music. Okay, perfect.
I like that feature, the music feature, because sometimes, like here at the shop, and I know a lot of people have told me that they'll have movie nights, right? And they'll create a folder and they'll drop in a bunch of posters for that movie. Let's just say John Wick, right? And then they'll also drop in the soundtrack to John Wick into that same folder. And then when they play back that folder on their board, it's also playing music in the background. So that kind of adds to that movie theater vibe, right? It's not just visual, but you can hear it as well.
Very
That's
nice.
pretty cool. And then, we have a bunch of settings here for our views, uploading banners. We select them down here. But you notice how there's a lot of customization here.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just one tab.
Right.
When we come back to the homepage, we still have all these other tabs that allow you to do a lot of different things.
So if you go into plugins, you can see that the specific things you can do with Arvolution, for instance, for our video, you can go in there and then you can import your collection. Like, for instance, I added about 30 movies to my collection over the last few days. And so then I had to go into digital movie boards and re-import my collection. So I went from like 480 to 510.
Oh, wow.
And then that blue button will allow you to go in and change the posters for each individual movie, and you could say, okay, I want to feature this alien poster instead of that one, so you change it to set poster.
Just like the Arvolution portion, if you're looking at it
sort
on
of,
screen.
yeah, very similar, right?
You can change out so this would be the suggested poster that comes from your Arvolution library, right? But you can download and set as the poster any other poster that you want, right? So some movies will have different versions of the posters, and so some look better than the others, and so it makes this real easy for you to just pick the one that you want. Yep. In addition to that, with our live view where you have the trailer playing on top, this is the trailer attached to that poster, right? And so we can see it here, and this is pulled from our Arvolution, right? Now, if we wanted to, we can change this out for any other trailer that we want. So we can go to YouTube, find another alien trailer, download that one, and attach it here.
Sort of like what I did with my custom one that I did. I just put the video itself. I just took an MP4 of it and put it up there. And then set it to slow motion, so it plays slower than real. It's kind of, it's really cool.
So, by default, there's a lot that is just set it and forget it, but you can come in here and start, fiddling around and really customizing it, right? So, that's did I block out here? That's kind of one of the ways that separates us from a lot of the other ones is that if you want, you can customize it, and if you don't want to fiddle with it, you can just kind of let it roll on its own, and it takes care of
Harp has
probably
a
for
question.
most people.
Harp had a question about Kaleidoscape integration. It says, I have 2 Terra servers and 1 Strato C. Will it handle the 2 servers in the setup?
Xavier, your call.
Yeah, so currently the current app doesn't, but in the future Pro Plus app that we're releasing next month, we'll definitely include that feature. So you'll be able to integrate as many servers as you want.
Nice.
Very nice. So as far as the so we saw the actual devices that hook to a TV, but what if I wanted to buy one with display like what you have behind you there? If I wanted the full, that looks like the Mac Daddy right there, right? With the bias lighting flashing and everything else like that.
It's nice. Yeah. So these are hand built. They are framed. I do use a frame maker. So these frames are real frames. They're real wood. They're not plastic molds, right? So everything on these I really kind of wanted to really just have this look to them that you can't get anywhere else, or that you can't DIY really. So we build these around a Samsung 8000 TV. I think the new 2025 Samsung models are like Q95s, I think, or something like that. But basically, they're very thin 4K displays. They're not the bottom of the line; they're kind of midline. Very overkill for these, but I use them because they're very thin, and so when you put the frame around them, you can really just put them close to the wall, right? I mean, they only stick out about 3/4 of an inch from the back wall.
Nice.
Right. And then the lights, it's an LED strip powered by the USB port on the back of the Samsung display. So you don't have another plug to plug into the wall for power. And then we put those light strips in aluminum chases that I measure out and cut. They're inside the aluminum chase, and then they've got the diffuser on top. So it's a very finished look, even when you turn them around, which you probably will never do it, right? Because they're mounted on the wall. But even the back is very finished. There's a lot of stickers on the back that will tell people this side goes up, plug this into here, do not plug anything into here. Everything is really nice and tidy. And we even have a little metal plaque that we attach to the bottom of the frame that has the serial number to that unit that person bought. So it's a very personalized thing that they experience, right? And that's kind of what we were talking about earlier, is that I kind of wanted the experience from buying it on the website to having it delivered to you setting it up, the final look. I want it all to look extremely polished and professional.
And you can even customize the frame style, right?
Yeah.
You can choose colors.
So
let's talk about the logistics again real quick. So what do I need to mount this? What do I need? Do I need do I need one of those cutout boxes that's going to go behind it, that you put in the wall, like that the integrators put in the wall? We talked about Ethernet, right? So it'd be ideal to have Ethernet there, if you can. And then obviously, can it run on batteries, or do I need power there?
I like that batteries comment. Xavier, make a note of that. So everything comes with the board. The wall mount is included. All the cables that you need is included. All you have to do is make sure that there's power behind the wall.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I always tell my customers is, you don't want the power outlet to be flush, right? Because the board sits so close to the wall that the power plugs aren't going to fit.
It needs to be recessed.
It has to be recessed. You can either have an electrician just recess the box with one from Home Depot, or you can buy one of the ones that we have on the website. They're more pro quality. They're bigger. You recess it. You can put a power outlet, and you have space in there to put all the extra cables. Right? It's all that's optional, but it makes things a lot easier. Now, as far as the Ethernet, I recommend.
Where's it at on the website? Is it in the store?
Yeah. So if you go to the DMB Pro movie board, up in the menu at the top, go to more. Over to the right. There you go, and then select DMB Pro movie board.
Third one down.
Now go ahead and scroll down quite a bit. There's a lot of writing on here, but we get to a point coming down here.
Accessories below. Yeah, recommended accessories.
Keep going.
There they are.
Yeah, there's the box I was looking for. That strong box right there. Yep.
So we have these in two different sizes, 8x14 and 14x14. Either one will work fine, right? But these are the ones that most integrators use when they're installing like the frame TVs.
Yeah, and the plug goes down here too, inside the box. So yep.
Yeah, so it's got a lot of room in there. We also want the user to understand that the DMB, this is all made out of steel, and it all acts as a heat sink. So this gets really hot. It's normal. It's really normal that it gets hot. But we don't want people to not have any ventilation around this. So using these strong Versa boxes, it allows a lot of ventilation to keep the airflow going, keeping these nice and cool.
So even though this is going to be in the cavity of the wall, you're still going to get enough airflow around that?
Yeah. I mean, much more than if this was mounted on the back of the TV and then, smashed up against the wall, then that heat transfer really doesn't have anywhere to go, right? Because it's being sandwiched. But at least if it's sitting there in the box,
right,
you can dissipate a lot more heat in the box.
And Paul, here's your fade to black right here, your Govee smart switch.
Oh, so remember how you were asking about turning it off automatically when when you press play?
Mm-hmm.
So a couple ways you can do that. One is with these Govee smart plugs. You can set timers on those. But also on our Samsung displays, if you have a Control 4 or a Savant or a Josh AI system, they already have the codes to control the Samsung displays. And so it would be very easy for a user to program into their Control 4 to turn off when you press play on a movie.
As a macro. Yeah, right. Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So currently, do both versions of the boxes that you have, do they both play 4K?
So yes and no yet, right? So this one here, the Nano, is a 1440 max, 1080p or 1440 max, right? It's a light version. It's just posters. It looks fantastic. It really does. Now the Pro.
But for a poster, would you really want more than 1080p for a poster?
Well, so this does some really nice scaling. Xavier and me spent, I don't know what, 3 days messing around with what resolution, what frame rate looks good on this. But at the end of the day, even with all that proper scaling done to give it the best picture, it only outputs either 1080p or 1440.
Okay.
2K, right? But for posters, for what this is doing, it's more than enough.
That's plenty, right?
Yeah. Now, this one here will output 4K on all posters. And let me tell you, those that say there's no difference between 4K and 2K on movie posters, they ain't seen it. There's a difference. It's big, right?
Yeah.
So this one will do 4K on all the static images. On the video, the next update, when we push out the update, making this the Pro 12 or the Pro Plus next month, you'll be able to play full 4K videos. We can stream in 4K. All the banners are going to be in 4K. Trailers, posters, everything is going to be in 4K when we update these next month.
So your existing customers that have the Pro right now, will they get that update for free?
Absolutely. For free. Absolutely.
Very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
I want everybody to be moved over off of the Pro and onto the Pro Plus. It's a whole new operating system, right? So the Pro that we have now, we're pretty much retiring that OS. We've reached the limit of what we can do to it. And Xavier and me have a ton more ideas that we want to get out. And so we had to recode it. And Xavier's been working on the code for a year already. And we've been beta testing it already. And it's phenomenal. It really is. The things that it's going to do are things that have never been done, but have never been thought of. And I'm not kidding. It's going to do some really bonkers stuff. So that's kind of that turning left when everybody is at the right.
So
turning left
if I wanted to, the frame TVs, they were mainly built to hide in the living room and show artwork.
Mm-hmm.
If I wanted to show vertical artwork on the movie poster, am I capable of doing that also?
Oh man, yeah. Xavier, tell me a little bit about the DMB TV.
Yeah, so You can access this on your DMB Pro board if you have one right now, but the DMB TV is basically an integration that connects with YouTube, so you can play any YouTube video you want on your board.
Okay.
And there's a couple of YouTube channels out there that make some pretty nice looking vertical videos, like vertical display videos. The channel, for instance, they make some really nice 4K vertical videos of, like, say, a waterfall, a nice beach scene, and any of that. And you can access that all from the DMB TV feature in our board. Just go right into the page, pick a video, play it, and you'll get a nice 4K landscape on your board.
Very nice.
And that's one of the features that is going to be extremely important for us moving forward after the Pro Plus, the DMB TV, because it's going to open up a whole new way of how people can interact with their boards. So, for instance, we have been for several months collecting from our users, DMB users from all over the world, 4K videos that they've shot either on their phone or on their pro cameras, right? We've got videos that users have sent to us from the pyramids of Giza. We have another user that sent us a video from the outback in Australia. Another one is in New York, and he's just put his camera up looking down at the city at night live. I mean, it's fantastic. And so what we're doing with these videos that we're collecting is we're amassing content for a channel. And so we're going to have channels that a user can just go into his app, and if he's looking to meditate, he can call up the waterfall channel. And there'll be a nice 4K streaming, waterfall video with some soothing sounds, right? If somebody's in the mood for a rainy day, over here it's been hot like crazy. I can put on a video of a rainy day, on my board back here, and it's a nice little ambience to have in the background, right? So that kind of starts to lead us into the hospitality sector with our board, with our kids. When you have a doctor, a professor, somebody who's a psychiatrist, and maybe they
waiting room, right?
Moving, yeah, a very smooth, soothing type of video for their patients.
Advertisement.
But Don brought up a good point. I'm sorry to interrupt, but I mean, you made me think of something. I know what you're thinking, that like static, very high resolution artwork, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So let's say you had a theater that was outside a main living area in your home, and you had the digital movie board outside the door of the theater, but it's really in a living space. So when you're not having movie night or you're not featuring something on the digital movie board, you could actually build a folder that has nice high resolution artwork that it scrolls through, and just have it be an accessory in your home that's showing nice artwork when it's not a digital movie board, Yeah.
LG has that right now, and obviously Samsung, the frame.
Right.
They have and I bought the frame. The reason I bought the frame TV is because I bought that TV for my wife's. My wife is a physician, so I bought that for her waiting room, basically. So
really cool.
When it just basically, we just played art on it. It and I'm telling you what, those things, it look like an oil painting with texture to it.
Right,
I mean, it's phenomenal how good it looked, and it would put the mat on the outside and the borders and everything else like that. So if I only charge you like $500,000 for that idea, but no, I'm just playing.
It's already been copyrighted.
Yeah, so no, I mean,
you got to pay for that theater some way.
It would be great to have something like that we can access. Also,
like I said, the limits to what this thing can do are just up to your imagination. That's all.
And
we already have that capability.
Exactly. Yep.
What we're doing now is we're just streamlining the DMB TV side to make it easier and more accessible for people to enjoy that.
Right.
And again, we go back to that, do we want to just reinvent the wheel, or do we want to just go crazy over here and just explore? And so that's kind of what we've chosen. Let's go explore and see where we can go with these next generation type of ideas. Right. The idea about what you did with a Samsung Frame TV, I mean, that's an incredible idea from Samsung to do that. And then now you notice everybody's following suit. You got LG, you got Hisense doing the same thing. And then there's a company that just came out that they're charging $10,000 plus for their system that does the same thing. They stream content to TVs that you can put vertically and frame out like a window pane or something, right?
So you brought up a key word here, stream, right? So can I use this offline? Is there an offline mode? Are all the posters actually stored on the device? Right. So
yeah. So you need internet access to download the posters from the database that we access. But once they're downloaded, they're on your device.
Okay.
And there might be other features that you might need internet access for, like,
Even
like
just
you're going to be
accessing the dashboard, for example. It's recommended that you have internet access.
Yeah, I mean, if as long as you have your network set up properly, you can, like, you can turn off internet through some devices. The board will still work and will still rotate the posters, and you can still access it because it's on your network. But
yeah, so like I'm in an area, I'm pretty much, I can throw a rock to the Everglades, so that's how close I am to, in West Florida. But I'm in an area that, unfortunately, I carry two ISPs because both of them, every now and then one will drop. That way I have another internet service provider. But, for people that don't have that capability, like the Arvolution, up until just about a couple months ago, the offline mode didn't work very well, right? So that's, if you were able, that's my question. If you're able to use this, if I had a complete blackout of internet, will the board function as normal? I mean, obviously it may not stream motion and stuff like that, but will it be able to do what it's designed to do, which is play digital posters?
yeah, in limited capacity, some features won't be available. The basic ones, like play movie posters, will.
Okay.
And there's a little trick that I don't really recommend, but because Xavier created a hotspot on both the Nano or the Pro, if you didn't have a properly set up network, you had 20 Eros and they all are throwing out random IP addresses and your network is all screwed up, you're never going to be able to access these.
Right.
But what Xavier did is, he created a hotspot out of these guys. So if worst case scenario, your network is so screwed up, you can still access and control the kit by using it as a hotspot and logging in directly into it. Now, you won't have any features that require internet access, but you can control folders, posters, and duration times.
Can you remote mount like a NAS storage device?
On the Pro Plus, we're looking into that. I mean, we can do external USB drives.
Oh, okay. You can.
Yeah, so you can get an external drive, plug it in, it'll recognize it on the Pro Plus. Okay. But at some point, we're going to do the NAS. We've talked about it, but it's,
because if you're, I got like 127 terabyte NAS. It's like I don't really want to buy more hard drives. I've bought all of them. I'm planning on buying.
That's a lot.
Well, you would think, but I'm over half full.
Well, it's surprising how many posters fit on, let's just say, 512 gigs, right? So the base version is 256 gigs. The next one up is 512, and then the top one is 1 terabyte of storage. And it's amazing, man. You can fit thousands and thousands of posters in here or in here without an issue.
How much holds on the Nano?
256.
Okay.
This has 256 of storage. It's a lot of posters.
Yeah.
If you start to do a lot of videos, then that's where the 512 and the 1 terabyte come in. But we're still talking about hundreds of videos, trailers, things like that would take up more space. But that's plenty on these. But on the Pro Plus, we're exploring these other avenues that are going to require a lot more space, and especially because we now have 4K content.
Right.
4K takes up a lot more space.
Yeah.
And that's where that NAS comes in, or the external storage that you plug into the USB drive.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So let's talk price points, right? So for the Nano, how much is the Nano?
$400.
$400.
That's it. Yeah. I love this thing, man. I can't stop talking about it. This thing is just great.
And then
they also have them in nice little colors too.
Oh, that's right.
There you go. Look at that.
That's right. They do. These are the cases are the silk green and then the blue. Yeah. So we have about 5 colors that we can choose: gray, black, red, blue, and silk green. And I 3D print these cases. So I designed them to fit the.
Look at you, Paul. You got a 3D printer, buddy, now.
Yeah.
Oh,
I do.
It's the best thing,
I
right?
do CAD. Yeah, I do CAD work on the side too.
Nice.
We'll have to share some of Paul's work in the green room afterwards.
Well, you know what a cool thing about using a 3D printer to print the cases is that, and this is an idea that I've had for a while, is that we can create on the fly any style case. So if we had a giveaway one day, maybe there was a Star Trek convention, we can 3D print one of the comm badges as a case for our computer.
That would be cool.
For those Trekkies, right?
There you go. There's another billable charge right there. I want mine in extra slim.
and that's the whole point of the Nano, right? People ask, well, why do you have a lanyard on it? Like, what the heck, man? Well, because it's small enough that you can just take it anywhere. If you want to go to your buddy's house, you want to go to a convention, you want to use this as digital signage, you can pick different colors for different places, and then it's easy and portable to take with you, right? So I just didn't want this to be some kind of a hardcore utilitarian device. I wanted to be a little bit of fun, so that's kind of where the colors come in.
Gotcha. That's cool.
So there's a question. Will it ever work with the Zadoo?
Xavier?
If you get him enough beer, Xavier might make it happen. I don't know if he drinks beer, but
on the occasion. But yeah, we definitely are looking into Zedo now. It looks like they have the support for us, so we're definitely going to get that integration available. It'll be in the Pro Plus update though, so stay tuned.
Very nice, very nice. So we're looking for that. What about the Dune player? There's a Dune player out there also.
Haven't looked at that at all. Let's
name what it does work with, so the audience knows.
So right now it works with Arvolution, Zapiti, Kaleidoscape, Plex Movies, and Plex Music. You're playing music, it'll pull up the cover art and all that info. And then next month we'll have Zedo working.
Oh,
very
wow.
nice.
Very cool.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, I'd like to add Dune and a bunch of others, but
hardware wise, isn't Dune basically the same thing as the Arvolution?
Dune's an Android. Yeah, it's when you pull it up on your network, sometimes you see Dune player instead of Arvolution.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these are Android based, but
yeah,
we kind of are looking for some cool type of content that we can pull from these players, and rather than just pulling out a poster, we want to pull out the metadata, the now playing, all sorts of cool things like that we can do with the Arvolution. And that kind of requires that Dune reach out to us and say, yeah, okay, we allow it. Here's our API. So we're getting there. We're going to definitely integrate. What is it, that one?
Zedo.
Yeah. So Zedo will be integrated for sure.
So is there any plans on Plex TV for like animes and stuff like that you play, or does it already work?
Hey, you're talking Xavier's language. Xavier, tell him what you were coming up with for that.
Yeah, so currently on the Pro, it only supports movies and music, but we are looking to integrate it with TV in the future updates.
Cool.
Like a YouTube TV or
Plex TV.
Only
like
Plex TV.
Plex,
Yeah,
Plex has
basically
different movie databases that they pull from, and it's the movie, music, and then you tell it TV. TV's where like I have
series
all
and stuff, right?
Series, yeah.
Right.
And it
And you'll be able to show posters for those
Yeah.
TV shows and whatnot.
So Goku will be on the screen whenever I'm
Goku.
What about like any like regular like DirecTV or Comcast or anything like that? Are you able to pull data from that?
No, we can't. Like Apple TV, we get a lot of requests for that. But no, they totally lock down what you can access on those devices. I wish.
I'm sure Xavier's got a back door somewhere.
Never say never. If it can be thought of, Xavier could probably pull it off.
I think if you get these three guys together here, Xavier, Ike, and Paul, you guys, I'm sure there would be a pretty good intervention going on there.
Probably, yeah. There's a lot of things that we want to do, and most of it comes down to, priority, right?
Right, of course.
Which feature gets used the more, or which feature gets asked for the most, and then we kind of, we'll bring it down the ladder there. But eventually, the Dune's going to make it, I'm sure, because it's it's a pretty basic Android app used just like Zapiti and Zdo, so it shouldn't be that difficult, but we'll see.
So, question for you. So we talked about the price point of the actual two devices. What if I want you to ship me the whole TV, the whole kabang, all that stuff?
Option number 3, right, is the whole all-in-one, and it's expensive, flat out expensive, right? So they start at $2,000, and then if you do the 512 or the 1 terabyte, excuse me, guys, it adds 2,000, 2,100, or 2,200. Shipping is man, it is a thorn in my side from day one. The boards have to go mounted standing up on a pallet. We can't lay them down because of the frame, right? So we have to get them on a pallet, stand them up this way, strap them, wrap them in cellophane so that the drivers don't cut the straps off and then just throw them and stack other items on top of it, because they think it's just a regular TV.
Yep.
And I ship it back out in the original Samsung box. So they have to go vertical. They have to go on an LTL truck, right? So it's the big trucks that you see down the streets, 18-wheelers. They go shipped through them. So it's about $350 to ship these.
So where are you located, and can people pick them up direct from you?
Yeah, for sure. I'm in San Antonio, and we have had a lot of people drive from Austin, Houston, Dallas, even in San Antonio, and come in and pick them up. And that way
I'm about to show up from Dallas, man. You're gonna see me knocking.
Yeah.
He's driving right now. He's just got a background.
So I'm looking at the website. Does it have a game emulator on there, or is that just the image, that video that someone showed in there?
So we have another board called the Retro Arcade Game Board. Right? So if you go there to more, and then come down and select.
Come on.
Oh, I just saw it. Okay, yeah.
And the Retro Arcade Game Board. Right. Okay. So this is not our software at all. And I have it all, explained there on the site. This is a freely available software called Emulation Station.
Yeah.
You can find it on the internet if you Google it.
I think
but I love it. I mean, this
oh
thing
man,
has,
I gotta play some Centipede. You're bringing it back.
yeah. I mean, Frogger, Zaxxon, Galaga, Galaxian, they're all in there, and I love it. And a lot of people really like it, but there's no support for it. You know, there's no like instruction videos that people have made. This is I mean, look, I don't want to talk about legalities here or anything, you know, because these are game ROMs, but you know, this is not our software, and the games that are on there are just super cool, but there's no type of support for it. And
well,
so
you can buy these type of things too through like TikTok and stuff like that, and they plug directly right into the back of the HDMI port, you know, so
you can get these like 10,000 games for $50 on Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Nothing new here. But most of the cost is obviously in the TV. And, you know, because it's the same TV that we use for the digital movie board. We just use it for.
I just bought an original Nintendo game emulator, that the actual from Nintendo that has all the Super Mario's. I love that thing.
I've been buying the Commodore, the Atari, the 400.
Isn't that cool?
It is awesome. Atari's back. Yeah.
But I play on the Switch. I play all the old retro games through like their online service too.
Yeah.
So
you know, this is not anything new. Our retro arcade game board, not by any means, but a lot of our customers like it being the same look as the movie board, and so they'll buy these as a pair, right? They'll put the movie board and then they'll put the arcade game board, and they look the same because it's on the same TV, right? And so that's kind of why I sell it. It's popular for people that buy multiple boards.
That's a big TV back there.
It looks really cool. I like the three. You know, you have the main poster, and then you got the animation of the movie playing, and then they're showing the your retro arcade in the middle on that.
Look at that! Look at that! Next Level Acoustics is on here. Look at that.
That's at their place,
So that's a big TV there. What's that, like a 65-inch, 55-inch maybe?
You have to ask Rob if he's still in.
Yeah, it's got to be a 65.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yep, looks like it.
JBL Synthesis Theater. There we go. That's what you need, Abe. You and Mr. Lang at JBL Synthesis Theater.
Yeah, I know, right?
I think that's at Bohr Audio or Borman Audio. I can't remember the exact name, out of Canada.
That was us from CEDIA last year, right there.
There you go. Mag Theatron. So, Bill, let's talk about how these guys can actually purchase.
Well, I mean, you can go to the website direct and buy, you know, straight from digitalmovieboards.com. But if you're a dealer and you're interested in, you know, selling them, you can contact me at murphonics@gmail.com. And I'd be happy to get you on JD's network and, you know, set up a relationship with you and get you all the details that you need. And like I said, I've got one on display here in my demo room in Fort Lauderdale. So anytime anybody that's close by wants to come by and see it in action and play around with the interface on the phone and that kind of thing.
Yeah, so you just gave me another reason to come down.
Yeah, I mean, you could play around with that while you're here too. While you're here, turning up my volume on my system all the way up.
Hey, Bill, do you want to put that? You want to put your
City.
email in the chat so we'll put it on the screen?
Yeah, let me put that for you.
So, any questions, guys, in the chat? If you got any questions for these guys, you know, any questions that you'd like to know about the movie board, digital movie board, that maybe they can answer before JD, are you able to take us into the KEF room?
Yeah, let me get set up here. So
Yeah.
use
the same link that that Bill provided for you. Just do it on your phone.
All right.
And it'll take you there, and we'll mute the computer that you're on right now.
And you want to select the rear camera. So
We didn't practice this prior, so please be patient with us, along with all of our other technical difficulties that we had earlier. So Next Level says it's a 55-inch TV. So thanks for clarifying that. It looks beautiful there. So.
Meanwhile, my phone died while it was fixed on that camera, so on that board, but we don't need it anymore anyway. So
No, sir. But thank you for sharing that. Definitely.
Looks like we lost Xavier.
No, he'll be right back.
Yeah, he's stepped.
Okay, can you hear me there? Wait.
Let's see here. Let's add you to the stage.
Maybe mute his main feed.
All right,
Hit mute on your main feed. Knew that was going to happen.
All right, so how do
he needs to hit mute on his main feed?
He'll have to turn it down either way.
Yeah, you just got to turn the sound down.
Yeah, on the main computer, because even if you mute, you're still going to get feedback from the other one.
Now we don't have that sound on the phone.
Is on mute.
I muted him.
Uh-oh.
That's fine.
You can just disconnect from
I'm leaving.
Reconnect.
Okay, so we'll do it this way. This is our lobby.
Let's put you solely up.
Yeah,
Are you able to turn the camera?
How do I turn
Just
the camera?
turn the camera
Physically turn it.
Turn it to horizontal.
Oh, like this?
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go. I don't know if he's using the back camera. He can change to the back camera. There's an option.
So this is the front camera. How do I change to the back?
So if you hit the option,
I have no option.
You can tap on the screen. Tap on the
if
screen.
you tap on the screen, it should give you a settings. Just tap one tap on the screen. It should pop
tapping.
up.
You see a camera come up.
I think there should be a gear that says
like a
settings.
gear icon to say settings.
No, it doesn't show up.
All right, no big deal.
Yeah.
All right, we'll just keep my ugly mug in here.
That'll work.
Right.
Yeah, you are a fan of Govee as well, huh?
Yeah, it's super
I
cool.
use a lot of Govee. Yeah, I love it.
So, game board, big board, plain motion posters, and then there is this little guy here.
Sorry, Ike.
Who's changing all that?
Done.
There we
There
go.
we go.
So that's kind of what I was telling you about having these little concession little screens, right?
That's cool. Yeah, I like that.
And then the theater room is in here. And we have one playing right here, smaller. And then as we come inside, there we go. So, God, this is horrible. I'm sorry, guys. These are our CAFs. So the CAF, I think 9s, I believe, the big ones. 2 clips there, the center. It's like a 73-inch, 70-inch screen. Then we have the board right there. That's a Samsung Frame TV.
Okay.
It's a 43-inch.
Yeah, that's the same size I have.
Yeah, it looks great. And I do have acoustic, what do we call them? They're just
Acoustic
diffusers, right? But they're covered with posters, fabric.
Nice.
Yeah, so that kind of helps on cut down the sound. We do have in the ceiling, some speakers for the Atmos. Nothing fancy. We turn it around towards the back and got the rack. All right, so we have a bunch of stuff, right?
Got the Revolution. Got the
The only
Denon.
thing that's missing here is the Kaleidoscape. I sent that over to Xavier so that he can code the software into the DMB Pro Plus.
Gotcha. You got all the buttons in there.
Yeah, we have, it's fun stuff, hang out here on the weekends and play around a bit. So this is just the shop theater room here.
I saw the reel-to-reel over here too. Look at that, man.
Look at that. Is that a Studer?
Yeah, Studer Reeboks.
Wow.
So I am a big analog audiophile.
Very nice.
I have more records than I do CDs. I love listening to my music. So like if we go over into my office here where we were at, I have Martin Logan's.
Yeah, I saw your. We might have
that's
to.
horrible.
You just got to turn your volume off.
You got to turn the volume down on your computer.
On the TV.
On the
How's that?
There we go.
Yeah,
That's
there you
much
go.
better.
That's good.
Okay. So here in my office, I have a Parasound Halo, Blue Sound Node. I got my JVC turntable,
Nice.
and I have that playing through my Martin Logans.
Are they
with,
the A1s?
No, these are the baby Logans. I think they're just the ESLs.
Okay.
And a Gibson Flying V on the wall, looks like. Is
Well,
that what that is?
so there's a story behind that. I have a lot of guitars, and I used to. Well, let me go ahead and switch back to the computer.
You'll have to turn the volume
Phone
back up,
down,
and
yeah.
we'll have to unmute you.
Yeah.
Got it.
There we go.
So when I started JD Smart Home, which is my home theater company, I was like 20 years old, and I started doing installations on tour buses for bands.
Oh wow!
So yeah, so for about 20 years, that's all I did. George Strait, Alan Jackson, Shania Twain, and then a bunch of pop artists also, Boyz II Men, Britney Spears. Obviously, I'm dating myself, but this was when I was like 20 to 30 years old. And what I would do is I would drive all over Texas and meet the drivers of the tour buses that the performers were touring in. And they would hook me up, backstage passes, meet the groups and hang out with them. So I got to meet and work on a lot of groups that I loved, growing up and listening to. I started that for like 20 years. That's all I did. And so I met a lot of artists, and some of them that I really liked gave me some toys that I still have today. Right. So this one was given to me by Rick Emmett from Triumph.
Wow.
I have a black ESP from Kirk Hammett from Metallica. I have 2 guitars from John Petrucci from Dream Theater, and 2 guitars one from Chris DeGarmo and one from Michael Wilton from Queensryche.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah, autographed and all that good stuff. So that was kind of one of the perks of what I was doing back in the day. There was nobody else back in the day doing what I was doing, working on tour buses.
So you got to see the Queensryche Empire tour? Is that what the one you saw? Oh, there it is. Okay. I guess that answers that question.
I've been a Queensryche fan since they first came out, before they were even played on the radio. I still am to this day.
Wow.
But yeah, I met a lot of cool artists, and not just artists that I liked in particular. Like, I'm not much of a country fan, but George Strait was my very first customer, and he helped me get connected with other country stars to work on their tour buses. Right.
Very
so
cool.
he basically started me off.
What kind of stuff did you install in the tour buses?
Well, so back in the day, it started off doing what was called in motion satellite tracking. And so now it's really common. You see a dome on the top of a tour bus. There's actually a satellite dish in there.
Right, right.
It moves and stays.
Yeah, it stays fixated to the satellite.
Yep. I see.
So they can watch TV as they're driving. But I was doing it at a time when people are moving away from the tube TVs and VHS cassettes over to satellite. And so I was the very first company in Texas to be authorized to install these track vision satellite systems on tour buses. So I was able to make a lot of contacts and connections with tour bus companies. And then with the backing of George Strait and a few other, people that I met, it just kind of spiraled, right? And any band that came in through Texas, they already knew, hey, you got to call JD and he'll take care of you.
Wow.
And 20 years, I was doing that.
And I can speak semi firsthand that a lot of tour bus musicians watch a lot of comedy. It's like they're very much into stand-up comedy and comedy films. I know that there's a lot of laughing that goes on in those buses.
Now to think about it, yeah, there were a lot of VHS tapes that I had to throw away that were comedy related. Yeah.
and other types of VHSs that don't need to be mentioned either.
The stories I can tell you.
I'm sure.
Definitely you had to put gloves podcast. On. All right, let's clean the bus.
and to a particular artist that is extremely well known. I will not reveal.
Okay, that's fine.
Of course not. Of course not. Nope. Well, let's just scroll through the chat just to make sure we didn't miss any questions about digital movie board.
Thanks for giving us so much time on the show.
Oh man, we loved having you. We love discussing anything, home theater related, or and I see multiple uses outside of the home theater for this product.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's the thing. It's primarily a home theater product, but it can go in as many different directions as you'd like. It's like I said, only limited to your imagination, And
that's kind of why we have the D&B Digital Store with content, because a lot of people, they don't know how to create their own content or what content to create, how to use it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of one of the things that is really limiting other software that's out there is there's no content. And that's a big thing with me and Xavier is we have to create content and it has to be polished content. So anybody can just go into the D&B Digital Store and there's a ton of content to get them started or to give them ideas, so that they can create their own content.
Yep, absolutely. That's what happened with me. I saw those banners and I started getting ideas about what kind of banners I wanted. So that's a good way to go about it.
Yep. Now I know I need to get me one. So
yeah, absolutely.
Y'all will.
More than one. So, but it's great. I didn't realize you could do as much as we just talked about.
You do more, right?
Yeah, so
you do a lot more. We only scratch the surface of what the current Pro can do. There is so much more. But when the Pro Plus comes out, that puts a lot of companies, just flips them over. Because
last night
to do those things for
last
cheap.
night when I was in here, we had a couple of guests over watching and listening to some stuff, and then my brother was here, and we wanted to show somebody that video that we did, and we walked away from the theater seats, came over to the computer where the workstation is for Pro Tools, and played it there. And I'm like, wait a minute, why don't I just put that in Arvolution? So I built it in Arvolution. I put the custom artwork up there, and I found the homepage. I took a picture of the homepage, and I texted it to my brother. I go, look at this. And he replied, first thing he replied was, is it showing up as now playing on the DMB? And I go, oh, wow, I didn't even think about that. So that's the wormhole I went down today. I was like, I'm going to make this happen. And, it would have worked just from what I did, except it didn't. At first, it didn't work. I had to call JD and Xavier, who fixed a little glitch in my operating system version, and then after that, it worked perfectly. So, like I said, I keep saying it. It's just if you can think of it, of something you want to do with the DMB, there's a way to get it done. So, it's pretty cool.
And I encourage everybody that buys our products, and I even include a little piece of paper in their accessory box. If they have any ideas for adding any feature, anything that might work better, or if they want me to remove a feature that just doesn't make sense. Yeah, I feed off of those suggestions, and Xavier knows, we will change it, we will add it, or we will remove it. We do it all the time.
Absolutely.
So that feedback, very important.
So guys, as usual, if you would like to be sorry, wrong thing. We would like for you to subscribe to the channels. So make sure you subscribe to Paul's new channel, Brews and Views. He's going to have some more content coming out. And then also Easy HT Tech, if you've not subscribed to that, Bill Murphy on YouTube. And then
the newcomer to the scene with only 90 subscribers. I'd love to get over that 100 mark.
That's 89 more than I get.
and then, of course, Horizon Home Theater, which is my channel, which I am still on the journey to 1,000. So,
nice, though. There you go.
Please, Ike is the veteran here. He's almost pushing 2,000. So let's get him up to 2,002. And then, if you'd like to be a guest on the show, please shoot us an email at hometheaterhublive@gmail.com. We love to show your theater off. Like we mentioned before, whether it's just a five channel setup in your living room, or it's a very elaborate theater, we want to enjoy it just as much as you do. So we really appreciate everyone sticking in for this one. JD, just a fantastic product, and Xavier, thank you for joining us to hash out some of those technical questions, and I'm sure there's still plenty more that may come your way. And Bill, it sounds like you're in charge of setting up dealers for this product, so when I come down, I'll definitely be giving you my application for this.
We'll get you on the list. I think you'll pass easily the vetting process. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
So once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us on the show, and we'll see you next Thursday, guys. If you could just hang on for a minute, and we'll talk in the green room. But thank you, everyone. Have a great day.
Cheers. Good evening.
Thank you.
Good evening.
Happy 4th of July, everyone.
Yep. Be safe.
Happy 4th.
Be safe out there.
Yeah, don't blow any fingers off.
Our subwoofers up.